To reverse a linked list in Python, a single linked list in this case, the first thing is we need to create a node. To create a node, of course, we need a class here. We'll just call this class node, and we're going to need our constructor method, so the danda init, and this takes in self, and it takes in data as the other parameter there. Then what you have here is, of course, self.data is going to be data, and you have self.next is going to be pointing to none. So remember, the next node points to none. What this means basically is you have your node here, and the pointer to this is null. Remember, what you're creating is just a node on its own. So it doesn't have, it's not in a linked list already. The next thing we do from this is we need to define a function that is going to help us reverse this linked list. So we're going to define a function. I'm going to just call it reverse linked list. Then this is going to check in the head. Now, in a linked list, what you mean by a head is the first element. So if this is a linked list for you, if this is a linked list, the first element or the first node in a linked list is what we usually refer to as the head, and the last element, we refer to this as the tail. What we need for us to reverse a linked list, we need the head, because remember, this is of course pointing to null. We need the head to point to null. And to help us do this, we need two pointers. We need a previous pointer and we need a current pointer. So in this case, we need to have our previous. We need our previous to be none, right? Then we need our current. The current node that you're working with is the head. This is the first element that you have, or the first node that you have in your linked list. Then the next thing that you do here is you need to, of course, you create a loop here, and you just say while the current node, right? So we'll just say while current. Then we do the reversing that you want to do while it is current here. The first thing that you do here is you start defining what the previous looks like, and then you start just reversing everything through with the way we saw in the first part of this specific video. You basically need to define the next node, and the next node here is going to be, because you're already in current, the next node is going to be, of course, current.next. Once you have this, then you need to define the previous node. In this case, it will be current.next. This is going to be the previous. You need to also define this previous. So how you do that is you just go and say previous, and this previous is going to be the current. This current is going to be what you had initially, which is the next node, next underscore node. And what you have here now is what you have as a reverse linked list. The next thing that you do, because you're still within this function, we need to return previous. Remember, this is the previous here. You need to return the previous. And with this, you already have your node, and you already have the function that is going to reverse the linked list from the head the way you defined it earlier. The only other thing you need to do here is test this thing out to see whether this thing is going to work. I want you to just write this code out, then test it. I'll actually just demonstrate.